Mute.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our MCPHS Parent Connect panel. My name is Hannah Maki. I'm an Assistant Director of Admission here at Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and I'm joined by my colleague, Allie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allie Gravois. I am one of the Associate Directors of Admission here at MCPHS. So excited that you're joining us tonight. Hannah and I have a lot of fun things in store for you. So hopefully you have some great questions for us, and we look forward to getting your questions answered.
Awesome. Yeah, so like Allie said, this is sort of a Zoom webinar setting. So the main way we're going to connect with you is through the Q&A chat. So this is really for you, your parents to get your questions answered. So feel free to use that Q&A chat function. We also have one of our colleagues here tonight, sort of in the background, Luke Wilson. He is on our team as well, Senior Assistant Director of Admission. So he might be kind of responding to some of your questions in the chat, but we look forward to answering your questions. We can cover anything, really. MCPHS, student life, programs, academics, financial aid. So really excited to chat with you tonight.
Well, Hannah, it looks like we already have some guests joining us tonight, which I'm very excited about. So it looks like the first question is, when does my student have to commit by, and what are the perks about committing early? Do you mind taking that one for us?
For sure. So our enrollment deadline at Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences is May 1st. So students have all the way up until May 1st to submit their enrollment and their housing deposit with us. There's a lot of benefits to submitting your enrollment and your housing deposit early. We actually already have our housing portal open for students that have submitted their deposits, which is really exciting. So I know students are really excited to be able to go in and start selecting roommates and taking that housing questionnaire and getting that kind of priority placement for housing. So that's a perk. It's also just nice to kind of solidify your seat. We're super excited to welcome the new class this fall to MCPHS. So those are some of the perks. You also will get access to your MCPHS student email and being able to kind of register for orientation over the summer and all of those sort of next steps. So yeah.
Awesome. So as this is live, we want to make sure you guys are asking questions. So make sure that you ask the questions in the chat. Hannah and I will try to get to all of you all tonight. So please, any questions, we're more than happy to help you out. So all you'll need to do that is through the Q&A that's located right in our Zoom room. Looks like we have a few more questions in here. So one of the big things about our students and what they always ask is, can I bring my car? What's the public transit like? I know as a parent, sometimes that can be hard to say no, that you can't bring your car, but the best thing about Boston is it's a walkable city. Our students absolutely love our blue light system. They love the transit system, the trolley system. And a lot of our students also just walk by foot, Uber, Lyft. So please don't bring your car to campus. We have no student parking on campus. But it looks like we're getting a couple more questions in. One is, does my scholarship stay with me for my 6-year PharmD, Hannah?
Yeah, great question. And I know we have some questions in our Q&A chat as well, talking about financial aid. So happy to kind of talk a little bit about that. But in terms of merit scholarships, at MCPHS, every single student that has been admitted to the university is automatically considered for a merit-based scholarship. What's really great about our scholarships at MCPHS is that they are renewable for all years of your students' programs. So whether that's a 3-year bachelor's degree, nursing program, or a 6-year PharmD program, or our 7-year optometry pathway program, as long as your student is maintaining, a 2.5 GPA, they're maintaining good academic standing, that merit scholarship will renew for all years of your program. So that's fantastic. I know that we're also getting some other questions regarding financial aid packages. So as we know, this year there has been an adjusted timeline with the FAFSA application for federal financial aid this year. So we are working with students and families on a very individual basis. While our deadline is May 1st, and we encourage students and families to hopefully get all the information they need together by May 1st, we are always happy to work with you all on an individual basis regarding that timeline for enrollment and things like that. So hopefully that answers some of those questions. We are starting to roll out some financial aid packages as well, so we're really excited to start getting those out to folks. Once you do receive your financial aid package from us, your student will receive an email to their email account saying that their financial aid package is ready to view. I and Allie will back me up on this. Encourage every single one of you to sign up for an individual financial aid appointment with us. All of our counselors are kind of on call and ready to go to have those conversations, review your aid packages. We can talk about estimated costs of the program, payment plans. It's really an individual financial aid and planning appointment for you and your family to get, the full picture you need before submitting, that enrollment deposit or making that final decision for the fall. So those financial aid appointments are great. We always encourage you as well to come to campus if you're able to. We have fantastic events on campus. Allie, I don't know if you want to talk about some of the exciting events we have going on for our students to kind of explore.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're so excited to celebrate your students' acceptance. I know Hannah did mention there's a lot of questions about financial aid, and at those acceptance days, we actually have one-on-one appointments. So with some of those aid packages rolling out, you might want to come back. You might want to come back and see us again. If you've already come to an accepted students day, we're more than happy to have you as many times as you'd like on campus. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to celebrate your acceptance, chat with an admissions counselor, a financial aid officer, and then we'll be able to give you some free swag. So the next one is coming up in a few weeks, and then we will also have individual appointments. So I highly encourage you to visit our accepted students page, and as part of that, you'll be able to see all the different options for you as an accepted student. If you've already come to campus, you've already celebrated your acceptance, but you have a lot of questions about aid, kind of like what Hannah was chatting about. We're happy to talk with you via Zoom, via phone. We can meet in person in Boston if that's something you're interested in. When we can talk through all of your different options as a student. Every package is different, and that's what we're here for. So definitely give us a call. If you feel like you haven't got your aid package yet and you're just questioning a lot of different things, that's what we're here for in admissions. So give us a call, and we're happy to kind of talk through those next steps with you to make sure that this is the right place for you and your student. We are also getting some questions about orientation. Hannah, what are some exciting things coming up for orientation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our orientation dates planned for the summer, which is fantastic. I believe, and maybe someone can fact check me on this, I believe they are June 20th to the 23rd or the 24th. I'll have to double check, but it's somewhere in that range in June 20th to the 23rd or 24th. All of the orientation dates are actually on our website. If you look under the MCPHS Next Steps for Deposited Students page, that's the Next Steps page for deposited students, has a lot of really important information on there. It has the orientation dates and the move-in dates. Orientation is required for students coming in for the fall. It's one day on campus. It's usually most of the day, so I'd plan to be on campus for the full day, but we make it super fun and exciting for you. There are usually some separate tracks, so one for the student and the other track is for the parents. But you have some tailored session for parents as well, because this is a transition for you and for your students. So we want to make sure that you're connecting with all the offices and all the supports on campus that you need to, and getting to explore campus and things like that. So it's a full day, a lot of information. So make sure to sign up for one of those orientation dates. They are on the website. And then move-in date, I believe, is August 28th this year. So end of August, the 28th. For those students that are living on campus, you'll receive a lot more information regarding like housing placements, housing assignments over the summer. And then typically Residence Life will send out an email to the student and to the family, usually, a week or two in advance of specific move-in times for you. So they have a very organized way that they do move in. So usually there's like a wave of like a morning session, an afternoon session, and evening session for move-in. So they'll give you some specific times to come in and move into campus.
Moving day is such a special day on campus, but it also is, if you're a commuter, I don't want you to feel like there's no community for you. We have several different things for our commuter students, and they are so excited to welcome you as a commuter student. Our Residence Life staff will even have special breakout sessions for you to meet people maybe on your commuter rail, or maybe people that live in your local neighborhood too. So definitely stay tuned if you're a commuter student, because we will have a lot of breakout sessions for you even at your summer orientation to meet other commuter students. We are receiving a lot of questions about financial aid, and we definitely know that this is the time of year that you want to talk about all your next steps with your finances. Again, I highly encourage you to set up an individual financial aid appointment. That's a great opportunity, again, to meet with one of our admissions counselors or financial aid staff, in which we can break down the package for you. If you have not received your financial aid package, you are still more than welcome to create a meeting with us, and we can give you some estimated costs until that does come in. So please feel free, don't wait. We're more than happy to answer those questions for you. If you're looking for a more in-depth visit to campus, we also do offer the Your Day program, which is a wonderful program in which your student and you could come to the campus. You can have lunch with a current student, your student can go to class with them, take a full extended campus tour, see some of our residence hall spaces, as well as have a really in-depth meeting with an admissions counselor to talk about your next steps, including financial aid. So two really big options for you coming up in the month of April before we hit that decision deadline in May. As of now, our extension, we are not having an extension, and we'll be accepting deposits until May 1st. So we're super excited about that. So definitely secure your seat. We're thrilled for you to hopefully join us in late August, early September. Hannah, it looks like we have a few questions for students about accelerated programs and if there's housing for them. Do you mind sharing the housing options for those that are in accelerated programs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are my good friends from Tennessee that I met on campus for Accepted Students Day a couple weeks ago. So good to see you guys virtually. But yeah, so for on-campus housing, so as a general sort of policy for our housing at MCPHS, it's guaranteed for students for the first year, fall and spring semester. Obviously, we have a lot of sort of accelerated programs that have a different format than just the fall and spring, and those students are actually doing a fall, spring, and summer format. That's going to be your nursing, dental hygiene, sonography, any medical imaging programs. Housing is available for students over the summer. So just because it's guaranteed for the fall and spring, it is certainly available for over the summer. You just want to make sure to connect with Residence Life, fill out an application for summer housing, and they'll work to place you in that housing over the summer. I am not 100% sure on exactly like what specific dorms they use. Allie, I'm not sure if you have any more specific insight onto the actual dorms that they place students in over the summer, but it is there for students to live.
Absolutely, Hannah. That's a great question. So our students are generally placed in Matricaria just because it does have a kitchen. So we will work with you on all your different dining options due to the summer hours of our cafeteria, but we make sure that your student is fed and that they do have the options of their kitchen if need be. If your student is set on not living in Matricaria in the traditional fall and spring semester, that is totally fine. They would move rooms and be over there with the summer students. The reason behind why we do that is because A, there's a kitchen, but B, it also puts all the summer students on different floors. So it's not like there's different students in different residence halls and they still have that community. So it's a really great option for our students if they're thinking about living in Boston over the summer. And we're so excited that your student is considering staying with us for the summer as well. We have a few more questions coming through the chat, which is great. And please keep asking those questions. Use that Q&A. It's a great opportunity for you to definitely connect with us and ask us any questions you have about the upcoming year for you and your student. So one that came through is about white coats. You don't need to purchase a white coat before you enroll in the university. That is something through a white coat ceremony, and your student would have that opportunity to be coded for their particular major once they reach that professional phase or clinical option of their particular program. Some other things that we always like to chat about is just living in Boston and being in the Longwood medical area. And I think that's a huge advantage for our students. Hannah, why don't you talk a little bit about the advantages of studying in the Longwood medical area?
Yeah, for sure. So I know that we have some folks that are maybe coming from out of state. And if you haven't had the opportunity to visit campus before, first of all, would definitely encourage you to do so if you haven't already. But Boston's really a great area. I mean, you won't find another city in the United States that has more colleges and universities in it than Boston. So right off the bat, it's a great area for young people to go to college and kind of explore the city. It's also a very clean city, which is nice. But specifically, our campus is located, like Allie said, right in the Longwood medical area. So we are quite literally right down the street from Boston Children's Hospital, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Harvard Medical Center, Joslin Diabetes Center, Beth Israel, Mass Gen, really all these hospitals, world-renowned hospitals that people come from all over the world to really get top-tier care at, are right down the street from our main campus. So it really makes sense where we're located in the positionality of our campus, strategically located so in the LMA, as we like to call it. So our students have really, really fantastic opportunities to kind of go and do internships, research opportunities, their clinical rotations at these hospitals as well. I know we send students over to Harvard Medical School every summer. They're doing, genome sequencing, protein analysis. We have students over at Boston Children's that are doing like mental health research or pediatric oncology research. So it's just really amazing work, what our students are doing kind of out of the classroom and taking what they're learning and applying it into kind of what we call like an experiential learning opportunity, and really adopting that model of interprofessional education and connecting the dots from what they're learning in class, applying those skills in lab, and then taking it to sort of, an outside opportunity. So really great for our students. We're also part of what's called the Colleges of the Fenway, which is another really great opportunity for our students to be involved in. At MCPHS, we're a very focused and specialized school, being sort of a healthcare and life sciences school as well. But the Colleges of the Fenway is a consortium that includes MCPHS, Simmons, Emmanuel, MassArt, and Wentworth Institute of Technology as well. So our students are able to, go to their, dining halls. They can use their gyms, their libraries. They can also cross-register and take classes over at the COF schools as well. Our students can interact with their clubs, intramural sports, band, orchestra, things like that. So all that being said, it's a really great area for our students being in the Longwood Medical area, and then also able to kind of engage with some students in the Colleges of the Fenway as well. So really encourage our students to kind of explore that. I know we all had some questions about, I'm not sure, maybe Luke answered them, but about students not able to make the June orientation. Allie, are there other options for students to attend orientation if they can't come in June?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that some of you are coming from out of the country or maybe out of state. So we will have an out of market orientation that will be coming up at the end of August. And you can sign up for that orientation. So you'll actually go to orientation and move in at the same time. And we can share those details with you right on our admitted student page that will go right into our student life page to sign up for our summer orientation. So all of this will be communicated with you, and just want to make sure that you have all of those next steps to make sure you are fully ready for the year. We also had a question about the long weekend. We encourage your student to stay with us for the long weekend. And the reason behind that is that's when they're going to make their connections, and our student life does an unbelievable opportunity for our students to go and meet each other. They do adventures over in the city of Boston. They get to explore the Fenway and the Longwood medical area. And we find that students that stay that weekend become truly engaged with our community. If you have other plans, we totally understand. They are not required to be on campus that weekend. But even if you are a commuter student, you are welcome to join this weekend. And I think it's a great time to start those connections and make those lifelong friends, as well as make friends in your major, in your dorms. Just a great opportunity for you to connect. So I do realize that it's right near the long weekend, but we really do hope that you stay with us before those classes do start in September. It also does look like we do have some questions, Hannah, about kind of the next step as a deposited student. And can you kind of talk about some of the things that they can do right now to get excited for the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you or your student has already submitted your deposit, congratulations. We're so excited to welcome you to our Cardinal community and have your student come and join us this fall on campus or as a commuter student. So some, next steps to really kind of keep in mind. The main thing is obviously going to be making sure that, your financial aid, your FAFSA is kind of set and all those types of things. In terms of housing, if they're living on campus, really want to make sure that your student is accessing the housing portal as well. This is going to be email sent from Residence Life directly to the MCPHS student email that was created for your student, so they can log in, make sure that they're accessing that email. I think that's really the biggest thing for students is make sure they check their email. If they haven't been checking their personal email already, now is a really great time to start training them to check their MCPHS email. All important communications will be going to that email as we sort of like transition from their personal email to this student email. So with all that being said, the housing email should be there if they're living on campus. They can access the housing portal if they've submitted their housing deposit. In the housing portal, they'll want to make sure to complete their housing contract as well as their housing questionnaire. The housing questionnaire is really going to ask them about, their living preferences. Are you clean, messy? Do you go to bed early, late? And that's really so that our Residence Life staff can pair them with some roommates that have similar living preferences. So want to make sure that they get that done. And, in terms of other next steps, making sure that you are signing up for orientation, just getting those kind of things all squared away. If you haven't visited campus as well, of course, we want to encourage you to come and visit. Our last accepted Students Day is coming up April 13th, which is, oh gosh, I think in like 2 weeks, which is really exciting. So if you haven't come to an accepted Students Day and you really want to experience campus, connect with current students, faculty, check out the labs, we would encourage you to attend that accepted Students Day. Get those orientation dates on your calendar. Make sure that we have your final high school transcript. That's a really important thing as well. So by the time you graduate from high school, make sure that we just have your final high school transcript. And yeah, so a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline. But we in the admissions office we work very closely with our students. So if you haven't seen our faces or heard from us already, you probably will hear a lot more from us now and over the summer. So get comfortable with us. We like to think we're very approachable people, but you guys have any questions or you ever want to set up a meeting with us to really talk about anything, we are here for you. So I also see that we have some questions pertaining to housing. So kind of just on that same vein as well, which housing unit is the best for upcoming freshmen? So like I mentioned before, we do guarantee housing for all first year students. We have 3 really great housing options on campus. So if you are not familiar with our housing options, the 3 that we offer are Fennel, which is your traditional style housing. We also have Matricaria, which is apartment style housing, and then Treehouse, which is our suite style housing. So your traditional style housing, which is Fennel, is going to be doubles. We do have a couple of triples and quads. That's, your very kind of typical common college dorm, as I like to say. You have a couple of roommates and then your kind of community bathroom down the hall. Really great way to foster community. You're bumping into people in the halls, you're talking to your RA. So a lot of our students actually really prefer to live in that kind of setting because it does foster a lot of community. Then we also have the apartment style, which is usually 2 double rooms, 2 doubles or, double and a triple. And then those students have access to their own bathroom, their own, dining space, and then a small sort of living area as well. So if your student's a very independent person and they like to, clean their own bathroom, do their own laundry and things like that, that's a really great option for them. And if they like to cook too, that's a good option. And then lastly, the suite style is kind of 2 double rooms connected by a shared bathroom. So that's a great option as well. And then we do have St. Julie Hall, which we actually have over on Emmanuel's campus. So we share that building with Emmanuel students. And that is apartment style as well, specifically for upperclassmen though. So we do only place students in Fennel, Matricaria, and Treehouse. But if they want to apply for housing after their first year, a lot of our students will usually be placed at St. Julie Hall if they are approved to live on campus. Allie, kind of going off of that, I know not all of our students are living on campus. We do enroll a lot of students from the Boston area, greater Boston area as well. Can you talk a little bit about life as a commuter student and, if they're planning to take public transit or parking, what that kind of looks like for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a commuter student tuning in or a commuter parent, we are so excited for you and we will prepare you as best we can to make sure that it's an easy transition as a commuter student as well. So I know Hannah covered a lot about residential students, but please know that this is also your home and we want to make it your home as well. We have so many resources for commuter students, but one thing I always like to prelude is that we do not have a commuter parking lot. So you cannot bring your car to campus. You are more than welcome to park in any of the local garages, yet they do become a little pricey. So something to kind of keep in mind. And we also do have a few street parking spots, but it is very difficult and our students do get worried about ticketing. So we highly recommend that you do use public transit or you can definitely find local areas and garages for commuter students, but we do not have a commuter parking lot and we don't have a partnership with any parking lots per se. However, we do have a really great program for our commuter students in which they can have a discounted train pass. And I highly encourage my students and all of the other students applying to MCPHS and committing to MCPHS to use. You can definitely drive to a Green Line station, park your car there at a lower price. You could take the commuter rail. We also do discounted commuter rail passes. We are located right on the E line, which is the Longwood Medical Area stop. We're also on the D line, which is Longwood, and a very quick, about 5 to 10 minute walk from that stop as well. So 2 Green Line stops. Also, the commuter rail from North Station is right there. So if you're thinking about taking the commuter rail, We also have access to bus stations. So a lot of our students do take the bus, and that would be a discounted train pass or trolley pass, as well as a bus pass that can be all in one when you join the Boston community. We also do have students that bike or take their scooters. We do have scooter parking on campus. So if that's something you're interested in, you're very local, definitely feel free to reach out to your admissions counselor. We can connect you to that link. It will also be on your next steps page. If you're lucky enough to walk, go for it. It's a really great opportunity for our students, and they really feel like they do get their exercise. And then we also do have the blue bike system. So if you're interested in maybe taking the commuter rail or taking the green line and then maybe biking to campus, there is also that opportunity. So lots of different things that you can do. We do launch the email for those discounted train passes. That will generally come in early summer, but you can feel free to reach us in the admissions office. We can even send you the link when it's available. I usually put a little note in the files of my commuter students. So I always send out a big email. So feel free, if you're watching this and you're like, my student is a commuter, feel free to send me or Hannah a message and we'll make sure we get that link over to you as well. So I think the discount is unbelievable. Hannah and I are both commuters. We definitely understand. And I think it's a great opportunity. Our commuter students also do have a commuter lounge, which we call our Cardinal Lounge, which can be used by all students. In there's microwaves, there's TVs to watch Boston sports, play video games. And then we also do have grab and go lunch that's right there as well. So I always encourage commuter students to also get like a half meal plan so they feel like they're really living on campus. I find that a lot of commuter students, you don't even know they're commuter students by how they get involved in campus. So I highly encourage you as a commuter student to join clubs, activities, use that commuter Cardinal Lounge and really get situated within your campus. So we do have a lot of fun things for you coming in the next few weeks. And one of them is the deposit is coming up on May 1st. So if you're in your first choice program, definitely make that deposit. Why? Like Hannah said, priority on housing, which is unbelievable. Securing your seat in your program. You get to talk with us a little bit about financial aid and all of our next steps. So definitely make sure that you have all of those things in tuned. Hannah, why don't you talk a little bit about the importance of submitting the FAFSA if they haven't already?
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you who don't know, or if you haven't submitted your FAFSA yet, the FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. I encourage every single student and family to submit the FAFSA. Even if you don't think that you're going to qualify for federal financial aid, it is 10 to 15 minutes out of your day to fill out this application. It's a free application. It goes directly to the Department of Education, and they will, take a look at the application. Usually they're going to evaluate, some tax information, assets, things like that. And then they'll determine how much federal financial aid your student qualifies for. Typically, at the very minimum, students are qualifying for some student loans, again, at the very minimum. And students are not required to take out these loans if they qualify for them. But it is still important to fill it out because, the conversation around affordability is, we understand, a huge piece of the puzzle for a lot of students and families. So definitely fill out the FAFSA. I know it's been definitely a little frustrating this year with the adjusted timeline and the rollout of the FAFSA application and the technical difficulties getting in to the website and filling out the application. So just know that, you are certainly not alone. This has been affecting students across the nation and colleges and universities. We are all right here with you, and we want you to succeed, and we want you to be able to have those answers to those questions regarding, financial aid and affordability. So if you are out there and you are like, oh my gosh, I haven't submitted my FAFSA yet, it's not too late. Don't worry. Our priority deadline was April 1st, although just because that deadline has passed, you can still certainly submit that FAFSA application, and I highly encourage you to do so. I know our counselors over in financial services are working as diligently as they can to start getting financial aid packages out, as we have started to receive some financial aid data from the Department of Education. So certainly fill those out, and like we talked about before, once you do get your award letter, your student gets their award letter, feel free to ask questions, schedule that individual financial aid appointment with us, come to campus for an accepted students day or your day. Happy to connect with you guys on campus or over Zoom or over the phone to walk you through those pieces, but certainly fill that out so that you can get all those questions answered. I know we have some questions regarding immunizations and things like that. So Allie, I don't know if you want to take this one and talk about immunizations and program requirements.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you commit to MCPHS, we will ask for your immunization records. And we work really closely with our immunization office here in admission to make sure that you and your family are fully prepared to submit all of that documentation before you come to MCPHS. The big thing for you to know is that we do our immunizations based off programs. So certain programs do require certain immunizations. The biggest piece of advice for all students is to make that physical early. And so then you can get all of your records sooner than later, and we're not pushing into the August deadline. We do require many different immunizations. Again, they are different per clinical. If you have specific questions about certain immunizations, I highly recommend you reach out to admissions, and we're more than happy to direct you to our immunization office for further conversations. But again, we do require it. We use an outside source called Castle Branch, and you will be able to go in there, submit some records, and then again, work with admissions that can direct you over to our immunization office. So some next steps for you there, and that will be opening up in the coming weeks after our deposit deadline coming up on May 1st. Some other things to kind of chat about, we are still getting a lot of financial aid questions, and I know that financial aid is a huge factor into your decision. Again, you are not required to submit the FAFSA. However, there are a lot of benefits, like Hannah shared, about submitting the FAFSA, including maybe some additional grants. So we really want to make sure that you submit the FAFSA if you're comfortable with that, because the worst you can do is just deny the loans and move on, like Hannah was saying. We'd love to have those conversations with you about price if this is the place you want your student to land, definitely in the fall. Some fun questions, and I always think that's really good to talk about. We talked a lot about immunizations, we talked a lot about move-in, and all that's kind of fun, but let's talk about some of the fun student life things. So we have our welcome week, like I was chatting about earlier, over our Labor Day weekend. We do have a huge involvement fair coming up in September that your students can meet over 100 different clubs, organizations. We have anything from a running club to an outdoors club that goes skiing. And then we have more academic clubs, sororities, fraternities. A lot of our students really do get involved in the long with volunteers. There's a lot of opportunities for you and your student to learn more about MCPHS. As a parent, I know that it can be very hard to learn a little bit more about what your student can do for fun, because we sometimes focus on truly academics and financials, but it's also good to find their fit and what they're interested in doing on campus. And we have a wide variety of those things. If you're planning on coming to our Accepted Students Day coming up in a few weeks, or if you're just planning a campus visit, you'll be able to see some of those things live in action. We will be having a student activities fair as part of our final Accepted Students Day. You can meet some representatives. Speaking of student support, we do have our case office. We actually just launched a video with our student support to answer a lot of those questions. So I highly encourage you to look through our YouTube channel and hear some interesting and cool things that our students are supported with through their academics and beyond. That is put on right here on YouTube, and you can chat with some of our academic coaches and advisors, and that's a great video for you to share. But we did get a question about our advising program for the peer mentors. And yes, the peer mentor is in their major, and it's in their intro to the major class. So they are assigned a peer mentor, and they'll get that student's information the first week of class. Kind of speaking about that, we always want to make sure that we answer all of the questions for you. So I know that our questions are kind of slowing down, and we want to make sure we get all of them out for you. If we didn't get to your question tonight, Hannah and I are more than happy to reach out to you after. And you can see our contact information right on the website. So this is a great time for you to chat in through our Q&A. But I always like to kind of pick Hannah's brain about, why a student should commit to MCPHS. I always have my spiel on why they should submit to MCPHS. So Hannah, why should a student commit to MCPHS?
Yeah, great question, Allie. So, I always kind of like to share my own personal experience and how I landed here, because I think it's helpful. But, I was someone when I was in high school that absolutely had no idea what I wanted to do when I went to college. And I know that was really stressful for myself and, my parents, and kind of figuring out, okay, what school is going to be best for me. I think what's really great about MCPHS is that, majority of our students, if not, I would say all of our students actually know that they want to go into healthcare. So they have that base, if maybe they're trying to figure out, is nursing the right program for me? Is pharmacy the right program for me? We can work with you. We can figure out those kind of programmatic interests. But at least all of our students know they want to go into healthcare and they want to help people. So they have that main commonality, which is really great. And it makes a lot of sense because MCPHS is a healthcare focused school. We're a comprehensive, healthcare life sciences school. So all of our students have that commonality. So right off the bat, you have that community of students that have that shared goal. And that's not something that you can find at a lot of other schools. I personally went to, a liberal arts school. So there was a lot of students studying very different things, which was a really kind of, cool environment, and that can be the right fit for some students. But for our students, they're a lot more focused. They know that they want to kind of go down this path of patient care. They want to go into clinical lab research. They want to do regulatory affairs and drug development research and things like that. So I think just having that community of students is great right off the bat. Obviously, I know we talked a lot about being in a Longwood medical area as well, and having great opportunities for our students to kind of do internships, research clinicals. So that's a great experience. But you also have fantastic support here at MCPHS. And that's something that I really encourage students to think about when they're kind of paring down their lists and making those final decisions. You want to feel supported. And I think I speak for a lot of students when I say that you want to feel important on campus. You want your professors to know your names. You want to feel like you are being heard, you're being seen, that you're paying for an education that is going to take you really far, especially in your healthcare career. Our faculty are fantastic. I know I have said this story to Allie a bunch of times, but there's one particular professor in the sonography department, Professor Miller. She actually went to high school with my dad. It's such a small world. If you're from the South Shore, everyone knows each other. But she works in the sonography department. She's been here for so many years. But she's the kind of professor that, she's not going to let you leave lab or leave class until she knows that you understand and that it's clicked for you. Especially with our hands-on programs like nursing, dental hygiene, sonography. It's really about using the medical imaging. It's getting comfortable. It's those types of techniques that you need to know what you're doing before you graduate, before you enter the workforce. And that's a commonality for all of our professors. They are all experts in the field. They want you to succeed. And you'll really feel that support, not only from our faculty, but from us in the admissions office, our residence life staff, our case office, the people that work in our library. There are so many people that are here for you that want your students to succeed, both in the classroom, outside of the classroom, and when they enter the healthcare profession after they graduate as well. So all that to say, I think that MCP is a fantastic place for students to land if they want to go into healthcare, they want to be in the city, they want to have access to the world's best hospitals, and they want to feel like they can make a difference in the world. So that's sort of what I tell students, and it's really exciting to see them on campus and to see all the amazing things that they're doing. Allie, I know you work with a lot of our student workers as well, so I'm sure you can speak to some of the cool things that they're doing during their program and after their program. But what would you say? What is your answer for students for why they should consider MCPHS?
Hannah's always hard to follow, I feel like. Hannah had a really great answer. And I feel like I can echo a lot of those great things that she was chatting about the personal connections that our students have. I always like to tell parents and students that our admissions team, all of us have been here for a very long time now. So we really truly believe in the mission of the university, which I think is something that is a little irregular for a lot of admissions office and a lot of change in different admissions counselors. Our community of admissions counselors have been here for a while. We believe in the mission and we believe in the success of our students. And that's a big thing to tell the parents and students is we do know the business of college admissions, but we also do know the value of what we are telling you that your student will have. One big thing I always like to stress to parents and students is that we are a teaching institution. We are not a research institution, meaning that our professors are here to teach. They're not here just to do a few little teaching class and then do their research work. We have a ton of hospitals. If you come and visit us, I highly encourage you to do our walking tour after, in which you can see a lot of our different hospitals. All of those hospitals on Longwood Avenue that our students do go over to are teaching institutions, meaning that they are there to teach the next healthcare leaders. As corny as that sounds, that means that our students are in there and they're making those connections with those Harvard affiliated teaching hospitals. I don't know where else you would want to go if you want to go into healthcare. Hannah also alluded to that I have the great pleasure of working with our student workers, our student ambassador program, which is great. And I get to kind of see firsthand what our students do. The biggest piece that I always like to say is that they are working with Harvard doctors, meaning they are getting some of the best letters of recommendation when they go off to medical school, go off to graduate programs, or continue on in their field because they've made those connections. If you're thinking that you want to go into healthcare, one of my California tour guides always calls it the Hollywood of healthcare when he walks down the street. And I think that's something that I really like to share with a lot of students. We've had students that have got job offers in coffee shops. That's the type of neighborhood that we are located in. And this is just a true mission of our university. We still bring in a good amount of students, but we still have that personal connection. Our students are in pods. They get to work with professors. We have very limited teaching assistants because they're full-time professors. Over 90% of our faculty have a terminal degree in their field. This speaks volumes about the type of education that your student will have. The other piece is just really the return on investment for your student. We always want to make sure that you know that you might put a little money in. You might have to borrow a little bit of money for your student to come here. We will make sure that your student meets that end goal and it starts here in admission, and we are more than happy to help you with that. Hannah and I work together a lot, and we pass off students and we work with students because we know that I might have a connection with a student from one area, she might have a connection with another area. Contact us. Does not matter where you're from. We are more than happy to help you to make sure that you and your family are making a comfortable decision, and hopefully that decision is MCPH. We are wrapping up, but please feel free if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Hannah and I will be here. And Hannah, thanks so much for joining me tonight. It was great.
Absolutely. It was a lively conversation. If we didn't get to all your questions, feel free to please reach out to us in the admissions office. We are always around and happy to chat with you. So again, a couple of things to keep in mind as we're wrapping up here. If you haven't visited campus, please come to campus. We'd love to have you. We have our last accepted students day coming up April 13th. So two weeks from now. Love to have you there. Again, our enrollment deadline is May 1st, which I know is coming up soon. So if you have any unanswered questions, you have questions about your financial aid package or FAFSA, please connect with us. You can go right to our mcphs.edu/visit page and go to the admitted student section specifically. That's where you can have all the access to all of your admitted students events there. So your days, accepted students days, individual financial aid appointments, counselor appointments, all of that good stuff. So feel free to connect with us in that way. And we want to let you guys know that we will be sending out this recording of the parent panel at the end of the week over email, along with some additional resources that have been filmed and hosted by our counselors, and it's will be living on our MCPHS admissions YouTube page as well. So feel free to check out our YouTube page. It has so many resources, a lot of great content for you, program information, campus information, financial aid information. So please feel free to share all those resources with your student. But we want to thank you all for taking some time out of your days to chat with Allie and I. We love hosting these, but we also love to engage with you in person as well. So we hope to see you all on campus this fall, and please enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you all.